You're known as an incredible negotiator in Congress, bringing people together from both sides of the aisle. What's the best piece of negotiating advice you would give others, given your experience in a very unique environment?
You have to have respect. In other words, respect for your own views, but also respect for your colleagues and respect for the people who sent them to the Congress. So that's really not something that Congress is abounding in right now, but it is the tradition in which I came into Congress, and for a number of years that's how Congress worked. I always use the acronym LOVE, let other versions exist. You know, there are other ways to do things, and let's hear each other out and see what really does get the job done. And again, respectful of regional differences, generational differences. There are many reasons why people are different, far apart from political parties. That's one difference. But again, we represent regions of the country. We come at it from a women's perspective, from a California perspective, wherever it happens to be. So you really have to be respectful. And if people genuinely want to accomplish something, and they have a point of view and you have a point of view, you can come to agreement. If they don't want anything, well, you know that you can't negotiate with someone who doesn't want anything. One thing I'm very proud of is what we did with President Bush with an energy bill that we passed, which is one of the biggest energy bills in the history of our country. He wanted nuclear, I wanted renewables. We had a great bill that came together, respectful of each other's priorities and the people that we represent.
Obviously, there is huge dissatisfaction and frustration from Americans around what's happening or not happening, I should say, in Washington. What would you say to that frustration that you continue to hear and that we continue to talk about, and that disapproval with what's getting done or not getting done in Washington today?
I always hearken to President Lincoln, who is a hero to all of us, and he said, public sentiment is everything. And that's what we have to respect. But we have to ensure that public sentiment is informed. And we have to, what I say is, public is very wise. The public is very wise, almost like the markets, the public. It's an up and down, it's a this and that, but there's a wisdom to it. And we have an obligation to make our case to the public. It isn't about politics of personal destruction, of taking somebody else down. It's what do you believe, and what is the difference between one or the other. I don't think we've been having that kind of discussion in our country. Now, I say that to hasten that Congress has always been an object of mockery in the history of our country. The low numbers are pretty low now, but communication is quite different as well, and immediate and real time and the rest. So I do think that we have to do much better to restore the public confidence. And what I think is a really important step in that direction is to reduce the role of money in politics, because there's a cynicism in the public that money rules and it doesn't matter what they think, and a pox on both your houses if you're not getting something done. Both parties have had a great tradition in our country. Perhaps other parties will come forth. But I do know that in the Congress of the United States right now, I think that it's a different Republican Party than we have seen before.
There's so much spotlight on women in positions of power, so much conversation in the media, so many stereotypes and cliches. What's your least favorite stereotype when people are talking about women in powerful positions?
Oh, you know what? I don't really think about it too much. We're just too busy getting our job done. But to tell you the truth, I haven't really given it that much thought. I've just so moved on from that. And I just keep saying to women that I try to encourage to run for office, this is not, again, for the faint of heart. You have to don a suit of armor because you're going into the ring, and punches are going to be thrown at you. What will happen is they will try to minimize every accomplishment that you have. And I always say to people, know your power. If your power is that you are home raising family, that's a strength. Don't let them have that count against you. Beware of the secret sauce. So men think you wear a suit, you wear a tie, you know the secret sauce of how to get things done. Forget that. Forget that. So perhaps the stereotype would relate to appearance or clothes or hair or whatever it is. But you know what? You just have to laugh that off. You have to laugh it off because you know what you've come to bring to the table. You know that why you do this is about what you believe, what you know, how you can get something done, and how you can attract other people to it. And the minute you go into that spotlight, you know you're going to attract criticism, mockery, whatever you want to call it, but that's so unimportant.